Hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of StayAhead with StayWhizzy. Today we have Harsh Vaidya, the CEO and founder of WareIQ, a full YC-backed company who is providing fast shipping across D2C to brands and is also helping in quick commerce like Blinkit, Swiggy Instamart, and Zepto. So thank you, Harsh, for being here. And yes,
Great. Really looking forward to the conversation today, and thanks for the cool intro.
yeah. So a little bit about yourself, Harsh. What are you doing, and basically, what are you providing?
Sure. I'm the co-founder and CEO of WareIQ. We started in 2019, so close to 6 years in the market now. The proposition that we bring to the market is for e-commerce brands in India who are
Mhm,
looking to offer fast shipping on their own website,
mhm,
marketplaces, quick
mhm,
commerce, vertical marketplaces like Nykaa, Ajio, etc. Where the core proposition is that we help with regional warehousing, which allows brands to keep their inventory closer to their end customer, which
mhm,
allows them to offer fast shipping and also reduce their supply chain cost. So
mhm,
that's been the core principle with which we've been working upon since 2019.
mhm.
And in our journey, we've been working with 400 plus brands right now across the
Oh,
various verticals and market segments.
mhm,
So be it fashion, lifestyle, beauty, cosmetics,
mhm,
FMCG, etc.
mhm,
So yeah, that's what we offer.
mhm,
And to enable this, technology is a very core
mhm,
lever. One is the fulfillment network, which we have across the pan India locations. So
mhm,
currently, we are in 13 plus cities in India,
mhm,
where brands can utilize any of our fulfillment centers uh, to keep inventory, fulfill the orders across any of these channels.
mhm,
The technology comes in terms of intelligence with respect to how much inventory to keep in which location, so that you are able to offer fast shipping, and
mhm,
then integrations to various last mile courier partners to enable pan India shipping, hyperlocal shipping, all these various options. And then also intelligence in terms of which courier partner to be enabled for which PIN code. There is intelligence with respect to returns processing, claims filing within the fulfillment center. So yeah, predominantly a technology play which enables e-commerce brands to offer fast shipping across the channel wherever they would be selling on is what we offer.
So I think we moved too forward. Like basically, you're almost 6 years in business now. So where
Hmm.
it all started, Harsh? Like I was just checking. So you're doing
Yeah.
chemical engineering in NIT Bhopal, and then you moving
Hmm.
forward, you moved on to New York, and you worked in Pitney Bowes. So basically,
Sure.
this is not a very common, startup. Like everybody has an idea and just goes on into it and starts working in. So what ignited it, and how did you come up with this? Okay, this is a really important problem we have to solve, because yeah, of course, brands, for the newer brands, the newer D2C brands, find it very difficult with Amazon facilities and all, right? So how did you come up with this?
Sure. Fundamentally, I always wanted to do a startup, and just in the hunt of a right business problem to take a
Oh.
shot at. So in my journey, there are like quite a few ideas I tinkered around with,
Mhm,
but it's all also about the timing and when does that business model start making sense.
mhm,
So so the origination of WareIQ is more in the line of 2018 timeline or so.
mhm,
So back then I was working with Pitney Bowes in the US.
mhm,
Uh, so uh, I've been working with them in as a chief of staff to their senior vice president, and working with Pitney Bowes, I got a very good insight on how the supply chain works out globally. Not while the focus was primarily in the North America's market, but I could see how supply chain models, which predominantly were designed for reducing your costs per order as a single KPI, started transforming with cost of not just cost but also shipping. Click to door timeline became an important KPI, and it
mhm.
was predominantly changed by single player, which is Amazon Prime,
Yeah.
which started in North Americas, and then for every market where e-commerce became a significant share of the overall commerce, then being quite critical that if you do not have a fast click to door timeline as a KPI, then customers will not buy from you.
Mhm.
And
True.
that forced all supply chain players to move in that direction, which was not the focus.
Mhm,
And what uh, what came really strongly for me was that specifically in the Indian market,
mhm,
the e-commerce, the way it started, it
Mm-hmm.
started with Flipkart, uh, predominantly books, then it went to consumer electronics, and then with Myntra coming in, fashion lifestyle came in. Amazon came in 2013-14 timeline with
Mm-hmm.
all the categories specifically. So
Mm-hmm.
the first wave of e-commerce in India was just selling on Flipkart or selling on Amazon. So you did not have to uh, uh, focus on building your own supply chain. Just
Exactly.
deliver it to Flipkart's warehouse or
Mm-hmm.
Amazon warehouse, and they would do everything.
Mm-hmm.
But in 2018 timeline, what I could see, like Shopify was already one of the major channel, at least in the US. Like
Mm-hmm.
outside of Amazon, Shopify was number two,
Mm-hmm.
and we could see like the same story playing out at least in India. That could come in. There are already some big success stories like
Mm-hmm.
Mamaearth and Boat, and
Mm-hmm.
more to follow, which also happened. So I felt that in India, the divergence of channel is picking up very fast for outside of Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
Flipkart, but it will not go away. Like Amazon, Flipkart will still be dominating
Of
players,
course.
but
Mm-hmm.
people will have a strong focus on D2C, like
Mm-hmm.
D2C first and also marketplaces.
Mm-hmm.
Then uh, Nykaa first and other marketplaces, Mindra first and other marketplaces.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in last 2 years, it is quick commerce first and other channels.
Mm-hmm.
So brands
Actually.
are multi-channel in nature.
Mm-hmm.
Brands are multi-channel in nature. They will gravitate to one or two channels predominantly,
Mm-hmm.
but they will also have focus for all of this. Now,
Mm-hmm.
in this dynamics,
Mm-hmm.
at least what I could see that the brands will have to own up the supply chain
Mm-hmm.
and go outside of the fulfillment centers of, say, one of these captive
Mm-hmm.
locations. And it was very complex. So
Mm-hmm.
I took a sabbatical in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So I came to India, and I also got along with Ayush, who's my
Mm-hmm.
co-founder,
Mm-hmm.
and he was director of operations at Delivery. So
Okay.
he knew the stuff like what happens exactly in India,
Mm-hmm.
running last mile, what works, what does not work, the whole dynamics of it. So we spoke to a lot of D2C brands, and predominantly everyone operated from their own central warehouse or their
Mm-hmm.
home office setup,
Mm-hmm.
and they would work with a shipping aggregator or any direct courier partner, and
Mm-hmm.
every shipment will be delivered from their own central location. And
Okay.
that was the whole supply chain design. So everyone had like quite decent shipping speed or cost when the orders were in and around their location. But
Mm-hmm.
every time you had like orders coming from a distant location, the returns will pick up. There would be hardly any repeat purchase because the experience was
Mm-hmm.
bad and business case was not building up. So
Mm-hmm.
brands found that Amazon, Flipkart is doing decently well, but outside of that, the whole supply chain is broken, and we
Mm-hmm.
cannot be just operating through our location because e-commerce is pan-India in nature. From day one,
Exactly.
you are everywhere. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what we positioned. So in the early days, what we did is we focused just on one channel, Shopify sellers, nothing
Mm-hmm.
else. So
Mm-hmm.
started as a company that we have a platform, and we have like three warehouses,
Mm-hmm.
Bangalore, Mumbai, and NCR,
Okay.
and we will integrate to your Shopify store, and
Mm-hmm.
we will solve it for you. And we'll also provide you intelligence because
Mm-hmm.
inventory is always short in or a limited asset for any brand because you convert your cash into inventory, so you cannot keep on buying.
Mm-hmm.
So we said that we'll provide you very specific insight that based on your demand pattern, which location makes sense for you and which inventory, how much inventory to keep in which location. So that was our origination, and we got in like early set of customers immediately because first the consumer experience already was too bad with existing players. So it is always good to build in a market where consumer experience is bad because then customers are like कि मेरा तो already operation खराब चल ही रहा है, आप इससे ज्यादा तो बिगाड़ोगे नहीं या तो बेस लाइन ही रखोगे. So it's generally upside. Yeah. So upside is going to be high, and downside is already I'm playing in the downside. So it allowed us to get in some early set of customers who were willing to take a bet on us initially. So we got in like some really good set of early brands to work with. From a fulfillment center perspective, Ayush had that experience of running that. So that came as a strong skill set that you have like a very strong leader from delivery running the operations for you specifically running managing operations, and from a product perspective we kept on building it. But yeah, we focused on just one persona like Shopify sellers who are selling from one location, demand coming from pan India and not able to figure it out how to manage that. So that's how we built up the story, and as we went along we realized that brands also have a sizable share on Amazon and Flipkart. And then as we grew further in the journey, we realized that Amazon Flipkart is dominant share for a lot of businesses, and they're trying to build a business on Shopify and other avenue. So we integrate to everything. And then our proposition that we will be a platform built for multi-channel brands, which is a divergent pitch versus our counterparts in North Americas and everything, where the positioning was that Amazon is going to kill you, build up the business outside of Amazon, and Shopify, we will enable you with the guardrails, like how Prime worked for Shopify. We didn't really go with that approach because we know that in India, businesses have to typically, yeah, yeah. So typically in the early days, a lot of fulfillment players which came in the market, they said that you have to go outside of Amazon, build up everything on Shopify only, uh, and we will help you with everything that allows you get closer to the Amazon experience, which is like offering Prime like shipping speeds and everything, which we will help you doing that, but move out of Amazon. We didn't really take that stand because in India, like businesses will have everyone will have their own channel fitment. Some will be discovered and building the business on Amazon, some on Flipkart, some will be Shopify only, may not have a synergy with that. So we had like zero. Right, yeah. Right, yeah. I think there are different brands who have found different fitment and different strategies of work for them. Some have started Shopify only, predominantly focused there, didn't really care about marketplaces. Some have found traction in all of it and try to align their budget and their bandwidth everywhere and find sizable success. So what we realize is that it is not our position to take. Like, let's brand choose what works for them. We have to be a neutral supply chain partner with no positions anywhere, like Amazon, Flipkart, D2C, whatever works. We will help you enable everywhere. One core proposition is a common inventory pool, which means whatever inventory you keep with us, we will list it everywhere so that you don't really have to keep on buying inventory for each channel. So, one biggest problem that we heard in the initial days was that if I sell on Amazon FBA, FBA is their in house fulfillment offering, then I have to keep my inventory with Amazon. Then now that is locked with Amazon. Now, if I have orders coming from Shopify, I have to buy separately for that. If I have to order something else for another platform, I have to buy. I do not have that of inventory capital to keep on funneling it. So one proposition was that we will keep a common inventory pool with WareIQ listed everywhere. We will help you achieve the same SLAs that you get with each centers, like say Amazon fulfillment, etc., so that you can also get those privilege tags, which is very critical for brands visibility on marketplaces. If you don't have a Prime tag, you don't get visible on Amazon. If you don't have a short tag, then you don't get visible on Flipkart. So we made sure that you're compliant, you are reasonably available, we meet the SLAs, and you don't have to keep on multiplying inventory. So that allowed us to kind of attract this market segment in middle part of our journey and attract um,
Hmm.
marketplace heavy brands who are also trying to get into D2C, which is a story for a lot of publicly listed large retail players who primarily started with marketplaces and then went into like say a D2C, Shopify, etc. Because a lot of these brands already had a good brand recall, and
Hmm.
Amazon, Flipkart is where the volume is. So
Exactly.
we were able to attract a lot of these players also in due course of our journey. But yeah, that's been our flow so far.
So, just for our viewers who are not that aware of
Hmm.
logistics, so basically, Flipkart Assured is a tag which a brand gets, right, and which helps them rank better on the marketplace. How does it work?
Right, yeah. So, as an end consumer, when you go to say Amazon,
Hmm.
you see a product and then you
Hmm.
see a Prime tag which will show you that order before 3 p.m. today, get it delivered by tomorrow 3 p.m. by Prime. And that is only available for a Prime users, for example. And Prime is a privileged service that you get with fast shipping, other benefits also, but primarily from a shipping speed perspective, you get that offering. So, similar equivalent of that Prime is assured in Flipkart. Mintra has also started something else. Nykaa has equivalent of that. So essentially, these programs are essentially to help you make those impulsive decisions where the platform is committing that if you order before X p.m. today, you will
Hmm.
get it delivered same day or next day. So yeah, so assured is equivalent of Prime on Flipkart.
Okay, okay, and it totally depends on the inventory, right, and how fast can you actually delivered, right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
it depends upon if you are regionally available or not. So if you are
Okay.
present in Bangalore, you're
Mm-hmm.
looking at this red t-shirt that you really like.
Mm-hmm.
If the product is not in Bangalore, if it is kept in, say, Bangalore, in NCR location or Mumbai location, the platform cannot commit you same day delivery or a next day delivery. It will take at least 42 to 72 hours. So it becomes quite critical that if you want to be regionally available, that inventory has to be regionally placed also. That's where WareIQ comes in, where we provide brands with insight that based on our demand pattern, we can see that these SKUs are selling with this level of quantity in this location. So you can place that stock where we have our warehousing network also, and we have intelligence to also enable that movement.
Mm-hmm. Totally makes sense. Yeah. So, in your journey during the 2020 times, right? You applied for Y Combinator, right? And you were a batch of Y
Right.
Combinator. So, basically, was it a decision well thought, right? And how it did it actually impact WareIQ? Because I met a lot of Y Combinator backed founders, and they have always told that it comes with a great impact on the startup, right? And
Right.
with its networking facilities and also
Right.
the advice which Y Combinator gives. So how exactly has Y Combinator impacted WareIQ like moving forward?
Yeah, so Y Combinator is very core to our journey.
Mm-hmm.
So before we applied to YC, we started getting in some brand traction.
Mm-hmm.
So personally, both me and Ayush had a very strong conviction on the business model
Mm-hmm.
that this is something which is going to work because the timing is right, fitment is right, we can see the pull. And we applied it Y Combinator, and they were the first investors, first external investors in this. Before that, nobody else put the check. So they were the first check. That's always the special one.
Mm-hmm.
So they took the bet on us when we had very small business, and it was also like a story which is quite complex to convey. Like in the hindsight, it's quite clear that you need a fulfillment network which will enable fast shipping.
Mm-hmm.
Channels are increasing, and India's complex geography versus say Europe or a Middle East or any other geography where demand centers are nearby, and you don't need a fragmented fulfillment network to serve. But though that story was not very clear for me to convince other investors at that point, where people thought that warehousing is not a VC model, or why would you want to build a warehousing company or so. They're like lot. So it came more like a real estate play. So Y
Exactly.
Combinator, yeah, essentially could understand the story problem statement quite well for us, and they were the first check, which allowed us to kind of build some bit of credibility in the market.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is like also for us, it was important to build a social proof within the brands that we are a legit company. We are not just like
Mm-hmm.
two folks
Mm-hmm.
working out of our apartment building
Mm-hmm.
a supply chain startup. Because for any consumer brand,
Mm-hmm.
inventory is a money. They'll not just hand it over to any random location. It needs to be a legit place where it has all the compliance met. You have all the processes, systems, etc. So that capital from Y Combinator coming in also allowed us social proof, and also attracted some of the key investors, which helped us raise a round. So the initial getting the ball rolling, making it little bit more legit, fast tracing the track of it, it was quite important for us. And it also happened in a quite uncertain timeline because we got selected in Y Combinator February 2020,
Mm-hmm.
which is exactly when the lockdown was announced.
Exactly. I was coming on
So
that. Yeah.
yeah. So the lockdown was announced, and it was a very uncertain time because our warehouses also got locked. There was
Mm-hmm.
this whole regulatory uncertainty that which are the essential products, which are the non-essential products. Is e-commerce approved for this or not? There were health concerns, etc. So, but Y Combinator did approve us, and then we were supposed to fly to the batch in SF, but then the Y Combinator's decision came in that it will be the first remote only batch.
Oh.
So we were part of the first remote batch of Y Combinator. In hindsight, it kind of made a lot of sense, and it worked out better for us because we are an operations company and
Exactly.
we
I
are
think it
targeting
benefited
in the
you.
India market only.
Hmm.
Yeah, so for us being in the SF, both of us being in the SF, managing fulfillment center,
Hmm.
acquiring customer in that time zone and everything would have been quite complex. So it worked out fine. I think we were able to build the business while being in the Y Combinator batch, where in the evenings where we had these sessions with the partners, very focused sessions on uh, software development, marketing, acquiring customers, the whole sessions of building a big company, and the advice that comes along with it. Also talking to other folks in our batch remotely. So it also helped build a good culture within WareIQ, which has carried forward in terms of like we also have an office setup, but
Mhm.
we have found a better way to kind of run company even if we are not in the same place together.
Okay.
If we are traveling or there is like different team members, we have a way to kind of in a async manner execute it quite well,
Mhm.
and not everyone has to be at the same place all the time to execute it, which was like quite helpful. But yeah, generally Y Combinator, very special place in our journey, has been like the first investor to take a bet on us, so that's going to be always special for us.
Coming on the processes part, Harsh, like actually some months before I got the opportunity to visit a Blinkit warehouse, right, in
Okay.
Bangalore. Yeah. So basically, I just went there, to interview, right. So we were given a tour of the whole warehouse, like how,
Okay.
yeah, like how so much products were handled, right, how return packages were handled, different systems were there. So what I understood is that it's a very, very, I would say, not complicated, but a very tedious thing to handle in warehouses. So in that process, it is a huge manual process. I saw like so many people were just involved, like I think 24 into 7 it runs, right. So in that spare, how do you manage that, how do you enhance that, how does WareIQ actually position itself, because it's a very manual process. And how you were talking about AI, right. So basically, how does it implement in this processes, right.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. I think that's quite pertinent, and things are moving at a very rapid pace. Like at a weekly level, there's something which comes up in the world of AI, which
Mhm.
allows which unlocks new capability which you were not able to even think about. So
Mhm.
things are also very dynamic in nature. But yeah, I can talk about from warehousing processes.
Mhm.
Firstly, a differentiation between say a Blinkit warehouse and us would be that we are operating, say, large scale fulfillment centers, and Blinkit will be running urban dark stores, which is in the
Mhm.
vicinity. So
Mhm.
the area is small, and consequently, inventory to be managed is also very small.
Mhm.
So the complexity comes in terms of the dispatch timelines, which are on the go dispatches and everything, and
Mhm.
the feeding part of it.
Mhm.
For us, one part is like we are multi brand fulfillment center.
Mhm.
The inventory cover is always going to be large.
Mhm.
We work with cosmetics, we work with FMCG, we work with apparel, fashion, footwear. So we have to go about designing fulfillment center which can meet the need of multi-brand that we are working with. It also meets the compliances for each every category. And from a tech perspective, there are very specific problem statements that needs to be solved at scale. So, for example, there is a picking and packing operation. There's a staff will go pick pack the product. So that cannot be left for human judgment. So it has to be very automated in nature. There cannot be wrong parcels getting delivered to customer. So what are your mechanisms to make sure all of that is in place? It is a technology problem to be solved. And then in our case, like returns management is a bigger problem statement. Specifically, if you take case of fashion, lifestyle, or a footwear player, there somebody will buy a product, will test it out, fit will not be good, or so return the product. So 20-30% of the products returning back to the fulfillment center. You have to scan the product, make sure it is not wrong product being shipped back, which is also a issue in India e-commerce. If it is not product which is beyond repair, like spoiled product, and so a damaged product cannot be resold, needs to be refurbished, etc. So all these things are done in front of our returns management software, where it is able to detect. Like we are also infusing AI into these workflows, where we can, while it is like a lot of human decisions are now going to be transferred to very predictable image recognition. Is it the same product, same brand, same SKU? And we can make the call and uh, help brands with filing up of claims, which also is like a very manual processes. Like right now, somebody has to pull up the information, apply for claims on marketplaces, etc. So we are profiling at least the application of AI the way I look at it right now, it is not going to be a standalone AI product which is going to come and change everything. What will happen is, in every workflow, any operations workflow, there are a lot of repetitive manual work that somebody has to do, and it can be replicated quite easily with a AI agent. There could be a AI agent to just scan errors in the or the wrong products in the returns workflow. There could be AI agent which is just finding inventory gaps, inventory reconciliation or payment reconciliation, finding that, filing up for claim for
Mhm.
anything. There could be AI agent for what we have already, like for inventory placement. Like every 15 days or 10 days, brands have to make a decision that okay, which SKU or which stock is at the risk of getting stocked out.
Mhm.
What is my excess inventory?
Mhm.
Somebody makes that decision on an Excel sheet right now,
It's still
and
going
AI
on in
can
Excel sheet.
predominantly brands,
Oh.
even the more mature businesses, still
Mhm.
make that decision on an Excel for many different reasons. But yeah, that can be replicated and automated in nature, where
Mhm.
somebody can, like an AI agent, can be thought of as like a smart analyst who just day in day out, uh, churning the data, analyzing market data,
Forecasting
consuming
and
a lot
all.
of information.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I feel the AI application will infuse in the existing workflow, like how we are doing for many different things in our personal use cases now.
Mhm.
So that's going to be there. So we are embedding it into our existing workflows and transforming the user experience so far.
Mhm. Okay, so basically, from a user point of view, like when
Hmm.
I mean, this is a very, it can be a stupid question, right? But from a
Hmm.
user point of view, when we return a product, we just simply return it. Like we don't like it, we just return it. But I think from a backend point of view, it's a very, very tedious task, right? Just as you were talking about. So can you like explain how does it go through? Like I don't think it's a very simple process when a person returns the product, right? So how does it go back to listing and back to the warehouse? How long it is,
Sure.
and yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll take case of apparel, which is like a most common use case. Like say you tried out a t-shirt
Mhm.
and you first there could be thing that it's a red t-shirt, the color looks different, but you received something. It is red, but not the shade you
Yeah,
expected. So
it
you just
happens all the
outright
time. Yeah.
rejected it. Yeah. The other case could be the fitment is not what you like.
Mhm.
You like wearing slim fit. It came like a regular fit
Mhm.
or whatever. The dimensions etc. don't really match on
Mhm.
what was committed. Now, this is like a lot of problem with at least D2C is very young in India. So a lot of brands are fairly new. Uh, Once you have bought from a brand few products and then gets you become acquainted, then those returns also come down. But in the initial days where the trust is not that built out, these returns are also very high, and brands also go through a lot of learning and so, but I'll walk you through a process like how it works. So what happens is, say you applied for a return in the website, then we schedule a reverse pickup. So courier guy will come in and review your products. So there is also an option of uh, open open box checkup while the reverse pickup is going on. So essentially it will check that are you returning the right product or not, at a very high level visual checkup. Is it the same color, same brand, same size? If it is not matching it, and suppose you are committing like a fraudulent transaction or whatever, that you're sending something else, which is also a predominant problem right now. Uh, it is a significant percentage to clog your supply chain and also deplete a large part of your margin, where unfortunately a large part of returns that we receive in the warehouse are wrong products, and you have to file for claims if it is from Amazon and Flipkart, else you lose the money on that. So that's a big problem statement right now. There are there are all sort of things that you never ship to the customer, get that return back to you. So you have to file back. Yeah, suppose you buy like a very premium like jeans from somebody, and you return back something which was used, and the courier boy will not be able to make a judgment just on the visual, so we have to put in some. Yeah, so the reverse pickup happens, at least outright issues get rejected right then and there, before it comes to even the warehousing. When it returns to the fulfillment centers, when we do a much more detailed checks, Here we are expected to capture all the proofs so that we are able to file claims. So first is it the same shipping label and the same order ID for which I'm collecting the proof, so that it does not come like a situation where the marketplaces accuse us for filing up a fraudulent claims. So we have to also make sure the proofs are kind of tested out. So the videos that we make has a timestamp, it has shipping label, AWB IDs, opening up of the box. Then if it is a wrong product, we showcase that this was the forward product that we sent out. We have received this wrong product in the returns. Or if it is like a torn product or a stain, somebody has tried to retailer the product, etc. So the stitches are there, etc. So we have to showcase those things. And then all that data in terms of image file, video file gets synced real time onto a platform against that AWB ID or a order ID. We are able to say whenever the claims filing timeline comes in, we are able to retrieve that information in batches, apply it on time. We are trying to make up a bot which can automate this manual process also,
Mm-hmm.
so that that this can be done. But yeah, generally that's a process. So as a return comes into the fulfillment center, we segregate this, that these are the products which are good returns. We
Mm-hmm.
will refurbish it, clean it, make it ready for it to be resellable again. Bad returns, they are quarantined, kept separately. Either they are disposed of or send it back to the customers, our brands center for them to make subsequent action. But yeah, this whole process has a significant cost to it.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is to make sure that first, if you can, by various mechanism, reduce that returns percentage, then you
Mm-hmm.
can replicate, then you can kind of save a lot of margins. But
Mm-hmm.
the second part is if these are fraudulent claims or these are empty boxes from courier partners,
Mm-hmm.
you should not lose money on that. You should be able to claim the money from the end customer, from the marketplaces or the courier persons, where we as a supply chain enabler help you with all those tech and solution for that.
Yeah, I mean, like when we do it, like it seems so simple, right? But it's actually so many things are going behind, like on the process of the
Right, it, yeah. Yeah.
logistics. Yeah. So, coming, like moving on to the next things, right? Recently, as you were talking about in the pandemic, situations were very difficult, like when we are considering the inventory, right?
Yeah.
So, right now, also the situation has worsened as far as import export
Hmm.
is concerned, right? When
Right.
the
Yeah.
tariffs have been imposed on India and also China. So, how do you think it is impacting smaller brands who are trying to import to, let's say, US, right? The newer brands, because they will have the most toll on them. So how do you think it will impact them, and how can they come up with a better strategy? And is WareIQ going to help in this?
Right, yeah. So, while being in the supply chain, what I've understood is that supply chain is always going to have like some uncertain time, or disruptions are always going to be there. So, in a stretch of 6 months, if something has not happened, which is kind of creating uncertainty,
Mhm.
that's never going to happen. Like pandemic was like unforeseen. There was a Red Sea crisis.
Mhm.
Now we are in the tariff situation.
Mhm.
But there's always something or the other which is going to create supply chain uncertainty.
Mhm.
So for us, we try to, just like how Jeff Bezos says that you cannot predict a lot of things what is going to happen,
Mhm.
but you can still build your business on the fundamentals that which is going to remain the same, which is not going to change no matter what happens. Like
Mhm.
he defines it for the business that everyone will need better speed, better price, and better collections. So these are the three fundamentals that they're going to build upon. So for us, like there's going to be tariff, there is going to be some geographical changes. For us, one fundamental that we believe is the regional inventory placement, which I believe for India geography is going to be the common thing, no matter business focus more on quick commerce, marketplaces, D2C. India is a complex geography, and you can only enable fast shipping if you have like regional centers. So that is like one problem statement that we are going to solve. Coming to the tariff and the uncertainty part of it, it is hard to predict because things are so dynamic in nature. There was tariff announced, then there is like a 90-day window. There is a recent visit of JD Vance in India. So there is potentially a good term that India may have with US, which is favorable compared to the other geography. So for all the Indian exporters to who have US as a good market, predominant market, I think things may also be for good there, but we don't know for sure. And the whole issue is that uh, it is an uncertainty which holds off your decision. Working capital decisions: should we go or should we not go? Should we take the worst case scenario, best case scenario, or somewhere in between? People typically hold on their decisions, which is something creates the issue over here. Uh, I have like few takes. Like first is like India, why it has generally been a little bit more de-risked versus other places, that India still predominantly is a consumption-driven economy. So when I look at Indian brands right now, the biggest of the brands that we serve, etc., their volumes or anything has been not too impacted because they're serving their domestic customers. There is no tariff war between India
Hmm.
and China or any of the geography where they are sourcing the products from.
Hmm.
So it largely business as usual for the players who have predominant business in India.
Hmm.
Uh, Businesses who are selling to US are in a state of uncertainty
Hmm.
right now. We do not have a large part of business which is focused on exports or
Hmm.
global freight, etc.
Hmm.
So maybe I'm limited on that front. But yeah, I think uh, people have taken a pause until things will become clear. Because clearly, with the tariff percentages, even though the numbers are not as big as you see in China, it is significant for them to pass over to the end customer, and so right now it is quite challenging. But one trend that we foresee is going to happen is that a lot of Indian global brands, as they find it challenging to sell in the US, there may be focus towards identifying India as a market, uh, one as a sourcing partner and also as a demand center. So I feel WareIQ could be like a good enabler for a lot of brands who want to sell in India and want a supply chain partner who can offer them fast shipping and also help with the regulatory compliances. So I feel believe at least in this uncertainty timeline, brands who are have their standard inventory in any of these market and want to find a regulatory compliant way. Of course, there are a lot of compliances on anti-dumping to make sure that people don't dump their products in other geography because US is practically blocked out for them. In
Hmm.
any regulatory way, compliant way, if they require a strategic support in India, we will be definitely willing to partner on that front.
Hmm. Makes sense. Totally makes sense. So, moving forward, I had a very interesting question, like which was coming in my mind. So, with the
Hmm.
e-commerce companies, with the quick commerce companies, sorry, like Blinkit
Yeah.
and Zepto, who are actually achieving 5 minute delivery now, literally 5 minutes. So, it's only happening in India, I think. Right? It's not happening in
Yeah.
US. I'm very sure of that, and US and Australia.
Right.
Only in India and specifically in urban India, it's happening. So do you think
Hmm.
it's a sustainable thing? Because it is very much impacting the consumer behavior right now. People think, okay, I'll get the product in 10 minutes. So where do you think it's going right now? Because uh, I believe that it is changing the end consumer's behavior a lot, right? So where do you think it's going right now?
Right, yeah. I think there are a lot of categories which are getting built on quick commerce now
Hmm.
because, say, something like an ice cream or snacking or a lot of your consumable products, you would want them fast.
Hmm.
And you're getting it fast without major cost being charged to you, then it's a no-brainer. Then you will not kind of wait for uh, other platforms to serve you.
Hmm.
So in certain categories, quick commerce is predominant already. It will grow further.
Hmm.
There are a lot of channels. Say you want to buy a t-shirt or a jeans where collection is going to be important. You just don't want it in 10 minutes. You want to 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 just shop around, which is like a general shopping behavior. It's not for speed. It is like something people enjoy, browsing products. Let me find a good lamp for my house. So you're going to test out, check things, and then make a decision. So wherever I feel the collections and the spread of SKU is going to be central part of the decision, the core platforms are always going to be there. Uh, if you need like a chips, you are not browsing for chips. You know what you need. So where the collection and you know exactly what's going to be there, the business will always going to be with the player which is going to deliver it fast. So I think uh, quick commerce definitely has just started. I think there's a lot of room for growth and also run by quite smart people, backed by quite good investors also. And there is like already enough amount of capital deployed that it is going to have a staying power to it. there's always going to be like some uncertainty in terms of which business model is going to work. Is unit economics making sense? Is ad revenue going to kind of cover up or incentivize for the other things, etc.? So there's a lot of questions which are out there, which is going to be solved or not solved. I think only time is going to tell. It's a very interesting and exciting business model, which has only worked in India so far.
Yeah,
Uh,
interestingly.
yeah, I'm
And
generally
any
optimist on it.
particular reason, Harsh, why it has only worked in India? Like, and do you have
So,
any
right,
insight on that?
uh, it's like general theories. Like one is like the demand density is very high in India
Mm-hmm.
compared to other geographies where the houses are more spread out,
Mm-hmm.
and there is like the residential areas, commercial areas, there is demarcation, etc. And India, if you look at the biggest of demand centers, houses are quite compact.
Mm-hmm.
And the other part is like the general, the fundamentals of e-commerce in India. Everyone has a mobile phone, data is practically free, the coverage is very high, and everything, and people are able to deliver it. And cost of operating comparatively to major economies are also very low. Like uh, the delivering the products on a unit level compared to other major markets where the markup or the cost of that is prohibitive in nature, because these average bill values are going to be lower if you are ordering groceries and stuff.
Exactly.
So these are like some fundamentals which has worked out in India. It's like combination of a few things which have worked out fine right now. But yeah, I still think it's like the early days. Jury is still not out. There's a lot of expansion that's going to happen. There's going to be few challenges also. But yeah, fundamentally, I'm a guy who roots for startups, new ideas. So I want this to work. And yeah, I think it's like quite exciting path. What WareIQ has been playing the role over here is again in terms of multi-channel fulfillment. That if you as a brand are finding it uh, quite a big traction in the place, we can help you with the replenishment of orders to all of these Zepto, Blinkit, dark stores, and so, because that itself is a very complex supply chains. Because say you're a brand based in Gurgaon. Now, if you get approved on Blinkit, Blinkit will take you in all the metros. Zepto will take you in all the metros where the predominant inventory requirement is coming in from. Now, you cannot serve in from one location to multiple centers and take appointments and fulfill it. So that becomes a challenge. Like in the Amazon, Flipkart, what happens is you get a larger PO. You
Mm-hmm.
get in like a 30-day inventory cover or larger PO to fulfill. So it
Mm-hmm.
kind of works out. In quick commerce, since the centers are smaller in size, they don't give you a large PO. They
Mm-hmm.
give you a smaller PO, and then you get it for multiple cities, and then you get it every week or 10 days. So it becomes quite challenging. So WareIQ is helping businesses that we will run regional feeder centers for you, that no matter where you are getting traction, be it Instamart, Blinkit, Zepto,
Mm-hmm.
Big Basket Now, or whatever, we will help you replenish these orders on time for all of these centers so that you have a very high fill rate. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's been our positioning, like a supply chain enabler for any of these channels where the modern consumer brands are getting built.
Mhm. What also I can feel is that WhereIQ is also becoming a place, I would say, a resource platform for newer D2C brands, if I'm right, Harsh, right? Because there are so much problems of inventory management which newer D2C brands are finding very difficult to tackle, right? So, are you also planning to, make it a resource platform where people can have, I would say, D2C brands can have information and how to proceed and how to tackle these, day-to-day problems? Is it happening?
Uh, uh, so we have limited our like capability on a post-purchase basis. There are a lot of problems to be solved that
Mm,
businesses have to crack. That
mm,
how to get your first 100 transactions on or 1,000 transactions Amazon, Flipkart, D2C, etc. So we don't get into the demand positioning, pricing, the upstream nature of problem. But from a supply chain perspective, we make sure that we are the experts, so that the founders who are already focusing on such bigger problem statements to figure out what is the right pricing, right packaging, right placement, which channel to sell to, they don't have to solve that. Uh, is my warehouse functioning well? Has staff turned out? Are all of my products being shipped out on time on Amazon, Flipkart? Are there any order breaches? Are there any issues with deliveries, RTOs?
Mhm.
Because if that is another problem statement to be solved, then it
Mhm.
also leads to a lot of founder burnout. And
Exactly.
generally what we feel is that founders, generally what we work with in D2C, are they're like quite creative people and they're
Mhm.
building up a new market.
Mhm.
Warehousing, last mile supply chain should not be a problem that they should be getting into
Mhm.
in the building journey. That's the problem statement that we're trying to solve. Yeah, and of course we are building all sort of resources because uh, there is like GST compliances in integrating the warehouse. There are challenges in terms of replicating inventory in various locations. It's a data science problems to be solved for. There are a lot of marketplace compliances for claims management in managing inventory. There is cycle count and everything. So at least on the resource play, we have tried to be very focused on supply chain aspect of it. We don't go about teaching our brands with how to be successful in XYZ because we haven't not lived that journey. They are the brands, they know it better. In
Mhm.
terms of warehousing, last mile, and everything, we tend to share what we have learned working with various brands
Mhm.
so far. So, yeah, we are building a lot of resource base. I
Yeah.
personally write a lot of blogs
Mhm.
on our website.
Mhm.
Our team also puts in a lot of content. So, that's always been our approach.
Hmm. Also, Harsh, for the young entrepreneurs, like who, because this is a very traditional industry, right? So, because in a discussion of the next last 40 minutes, I saw so many problems
Hmm.
which you guys are solving,
Right. Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So, I guess there are still a lot of problems which can be solved and businesses can be created
Right.
on them, right? So, what are your suggestions on young entrepreneurs who don't really, I would say, explore this kind of traditional businesses, right? So how do they should approach these problem statements and try to create a business out of it?
Right. Yeah. I think one of the advice right now, generally what I see right now is that whenever there is a technological shifts happening in the industry, like what happened with steam engine, then we had silicon chips, you have the internet, then mobile and cloud, etc. Is like how the traditional industries will get uh, upended completely with the new technological shifts that's happening.
Mhm.
Right now, what's happening with AI is powerful, more powerful than anything else that we have seen.
Mhm.
So, uh, if anyone is starting business now, they have access to tools that nobody had when any of these industries were starting up. So, building it in a AI first world, I think provides you better lens to look at any problem statement that you're looking at, be it real estate, be it transportation, be it like anything, manufacturing, etc. Uh, the advice generally is like uh, being the expert of that problem statement. Like technology should come secondary.
Hmm.
First is deep understanding on the problem itself, that what exactly needs to be solved,
Hmm.
and how technology can solve it, which was not possible before. Why
Hmm.
now should be explained very clearly, or to yourself before anyone else comes in. That
Hmm.
why now, like through these vision capabilities or new AI models, now this
Hmm.
problem is open for disruption. If you don't have a very clear answer to that, then probably you should not attempt at it, because else it'll become like a solution in search for a problem, which is like a bad space to be in. You can spend like months and years without getting any traction. So starting with problem first, it could be any generic problem, and figuring out that why through current tools and technology you will be able to create better value versus any of these large traditional players who have been there for decades. And so, and that has happened in every industry, and always whenever there's a technological shifts, it's only the startups who have been the winners, not the incumbents. It has been like time and again you would see that success story. So that holds true.
I mean, that was amazing. You summed it up really well. Right. So this comes to our end of our discussion, and it was really amazing. Like I got to know
Great.
so much like insights about how things actually take place, and you explained it with so much patience. Like thanks for that. And it was just an
Perfect,
amazing
Sarvik. Yeah.
discussion with you. And let's meet up again, and let's
Perfect. Yeah.
yeah, see you again. Okay. Thank you, Harsh.
Thanks, Sarvik. Lovely chatting with you. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Bye.